Welcome back inside the StreamYard series, ladies and gentlemen. It has been a couple of months. It's been quite a few months, ladies and gentlemen. I am so excited to get a chance to be back on here. Please let me introduce myself. My name is Jake. On behalf of the Fighting Now, we are a page where we pretty much represent the MMA, the pretty much all the combat sports fighters who are killing it right now, especially on the ladies' side. And of course, real quick though, I want to send a shout out to my friend Erica, who is pretty much sponsoring this interview. Thank you so much, Erica, because in case you guys don't know, Erica is doing so incredible on these essential oils. So make sure you guys follow her on Instagram and check out all the information on the essential oils. This is the wild orange. It is incredible. It can help you in so many ways. So make sure you get yourself a bottle of the essential oils from Erica. She'll have all the details. So make sure you guys hit her up. That is the Instagram name at underscore Erica on here. So make sure you get a chance to follow her and, of course, get a chance to check out all the essential oils. We will get a chance to interview Erica tomorrow at noon before I get a chance to leave here. I'm very excited. She's been my best friend for quite some time. So can't wait to get a chance to interview Miss Erica from there. And also, pretty much, in case you guys missed the Twitch stream earlier, fortunately, you couldn't get a chance to save the Twitch video, but however, we are going to be coming back and doing something very special for you guys. Real quick though, yes, I am back. Yes, I am back live on the StreamYard Studios here on YouTube. It feels so great to be back. But before we get a chance to have my first visitor in quite some time, in 6 months, let me remind you guys on who she is. She's a bare knuckle fighter. She just got done killing it 2 weeks ago, and she is the one. She is the only Miss Skylar Dragoon Burns.
Hey, how's it going?
How's it going? Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule for joining me. How are you?
I'm doing great. I feel great. I'll be honest, it's kind of hard to not want to jump right back in the gym and keep grinding.
Well, hey, talk about that though. You had a tremendous fight. Pretty much, let's go ahead and look back on there. I mean, the first time we saw you, you pretty much had a very tough opponent, but now this one, you end up having yourself a TKO victory. How do you feel right now?
I feel great, honestly. It kind of went exactly how I expected it to go. I know that she was going to be tough coming from powerlifting and everything like that. And she was pretty strong in that trigon, but I just stuck to my game plan, and it ended up giving me a lot of success. So I'm really grateful for that, and I'm grateful for her, getting the guts and courage to get into the trigon with me. So.
And we'll get just talk about your journey, but real quick though, I do want to send a shout out to someone who's been a part of, pretty much been a fan of this page. So pretty much this is a very special day because you're the first interview on YouTube in the past 5 to 6 months. I wanted to make it on Instagram, but you know what? I said screw it. I want to get back into YouTube, so I figured what better way to get a chance to be back on YouTube than to have someone who is killing it right now in the fighting game, someone who has a story. So I really do appreciate you for wanting to do this with me to transition from Instagram back to YouTube.
Oh yeah, I really appreciate the opportunity. I'm super thankful. Thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. So Trey, once again, thank you so much. Really do appreciate being back on YouTube. So let's go ahead and get things started. So we all end up being inspired for a lot of stuff that we do, for interviewing, for podcasting, and for your point of view, fighting. So what inspired you to start fighting?
Honestly, I had kind of like a little bit of a rough upbringing, so it was a good way for me to kind of channel all of my anger and whatnot, to be able to do that. A lot of the times I would do regular sports, that they have in schools, and I just wanted something that was a little bit more aggressive, and I ended up finding it. So I'm super thankful for that. And it's just, since I pretty much graduated high school, I've been working at this in Taekwondo, mostly stand up, jiu-jitsu, Nogi jiu-jitsu, wrestling, really kickboxing, a little bit of everything, honestly. And then bare knuckle popped up, and first I thought it was kind of nuts, and then I said, you know what, always do the things that scare you all the time, because there's great stories to come from that. So
Yeah, yeah, and also real quick, Trey also wanted to say hi, Skylar. Hope you are doing well.
hey Trey, how's it going? I'm doing great, thank you.
He is Trey the champ. He's one of my best friends. So shout out to you, Trey. Thank you once again for all the love and support. Joe, it means a lot to me the fact that we get a chance to have a phenomenal fighter, a phenomenal person like Skylar to get a chance to join me, even though it may be late for some people. But hey, I mean, we're having fun. That's all that really matters.
Awesome.
So pretty much, something that I got a chance to ask you earlier this week was that, pretty much where you train at and everything that's going on. Well, you pretty much told me that you pretty much train with your husband. So tell me how's it feel to get a chance to train with your husband? How fun is it to get a chance to work on so much with someone you love like your husband?
Oh my gosh, I mean, it's since day one. I mean, I met him at the gym, and we were just, really close friends at first, and then we both just like had the same like things that we connected on, and it was just one of those things where that love just kind of grew, and we both had such a big passion for martial arts, and we both know where we wanted to go with that, and it's kind of like having like just like having your best friend that's like a battle buddy and in all the martial arts stuff. So it's like it's fun because we can still punch each other in the face and then hug afterwards and then like go cuddle or whatever, hang out with our son. It's fun, it keeps it interesting, and it's an awesome dynamic, and I love having it. And it's cool because even late at night when you're hanging out, you can be like, oh, hey, I wanted to go over this move really quick, or what do you think about this, or I noticed I was doing this. So it's 24-hour access to your coach all the time, and I see that as the biggest advantage. So I'm super grateful for him, and I wouldn't be here without him. So I'm super appreciative.
It's always nice to get a chance to hear those stories where it's like you go to the gym, it's like punch those, like, hey, you remember give me this black eye, and you're like, I'm sorry, babe, I love you. Then you pretty much just kiss and make up like that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're both, and when we're not, that's never our intention is try to hurt each other. It's always like, how can we improve our game? How can we get better? What's things that we may be lacking in our game that maybe we don't notice, or individually we're not noticing. So you're able to call each other out and be like, no, I see you doing this. We really need to work on this with you. And most of the time I'm just like, hey, what can I work on? What can I work on? And he's like, you can tone it down a little bit. He's like, you can give yourself a break, because he knows that I work so hard for throughout everything, through all my training camps. I'm dialed in on my nutrition, my weightlifting. I am super dialed in, and on top of that, I have like a normal day job, and then I also help teach with him at our gym as well. So I'm doing lots of things all the time. So he's my balance in life.
Well, shout out to your husband, of course, shout out to your beautiful family. I know as a mother and as a fighter, you do so much, and I definitely do admire you for that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem, no problem. So yeah, we all get a chance to look back on the first time we ever done something. For me, it's like the first time I ever did an interview. For you, you get a chance to look back on the first time you ever fought. So do you have a story to tell us as far as the first time you ever fought in your career?
Oh my gosh, yes. That's how I got my fight name, the Goon. I had really just been training martial arts. I hadn't started my taekwondo career yet, or really much of anything else. So really, all I had was like punching. I didn't even feel comfortable kicking. So my very first MMA amateur fight, I just came out which what looked like a hockey fight, and I just kept throwing my two repeatedly while having my other hand rested on her shoulder, and it just kind of looked like a hockey fight. So since then, my husband was like, "That's it. Your name is the Goon," because there's a movie out there that's about a hockey fighter named the Goon, and he just beats people up mercilessly. So it's kind of our little our little joke, our running joke that we have, and it's nice. It comes from somewhere, so I really feel like that fits me. Some of my past fights, I seem to always just scoop by about not getting too beat up in the face. And then there's a lot of instances where my opponents aren't so lucky in that aspect. So don't get me wrong. I've definitely gone through my trials and tribulations as well. I've torn my ACL and my meniscus, and I've had to have surgery, and that's, taking me time to come back from, as well as, being pregnant and trying to come back from that as well. So, we all have our, our battle scars.
Yeah, and you are the one that is not afraid to share your battle scars. So I definitely do admire that. We'll get a chance to talk about that. But something that that always makes me wonder, and I always ask every fighter this, but it's like as far as the training aspect, we learn so much, whether if it's the mental game, the physical game. But there may be times where it's like, yeah, like training's awesome, like it'd be great, it could be fun, but it's also those very most hard times where we struggle with training so much. So from your point of so sorry. So, from your point of view, what's been the most difficult part about training in your perspective? Sorry for the starter.
No, it's okay. I totally get it. Yeah, I mean, we all have those days where we are just dragging, and the last thing we want to do is go to the gym. The last thing we want to do is follow through with our goals that we set in front of us. That's definitely something that I always struggle with. And that's where I really appreciate my husband, just being on my butt about everything. There's days where he has to be more of a babysitter, and I love him for that. But honestly, what's worked for me in the past is truly just not even thinking about it and just going through with it. It's something, it's if you sit there and you think about it like, oh, no, I'll just skip tonight's practice, I'll just stay home. If you really think about it, versus you go there, you do your workout, or you follow through with what you say you're going to do, and you'll never regret it. You'll never regret a goal that you set out for yourself, that if you actually, it just takes baby steps. It's those little steps that make that big accomplishment. So that's what I always try to remember.
Yeah, very well. And this is something I really thought about, because September is Suicide Prevention Month, and we've seen how much the sport can be able to do it to us mentally, but it can also help you out in so many ways. So, how much has the sport of fighting helped you out mentally?
Oh my gosh. To be honest, this past training camp was one of my hardest training camps. I did lose a very close family member to me. And I did not feel like I got that time to grieve. And it's also the first time I fought so much, like back to back, and
Yeah.
let alone it being bare knuckle back to back. But uh, it was mentally, for me, this fight camp was really, really difficult, especially because I dedicate so much of my time to training. I don't have all the time in the world to be able to spend with my son. So I felt like I was also lacking that time, with my son that I could be spending with them. And, it's in the gym. So you have all these outside perspectives bouncing in your head, and it's hard to not beat yourself up about it. But at the end of the
Yeah.
day, we all are human beings, and we're all doing our best, the best of our ability. And sometimes we just need to give ourselves some grace, even just a moment in time where you just need to reflect on everything and just give yourself a moment, whatever that may be. Just give yourself some time. That's something that I've really learned for myself.
Well, something I've always thought about, and this is something I talk about in the page on Instagram. Is just the fact is that you guys are more than just fighters that fight really tough opponents, and they're like you fought in your last bare knuckle fight. But it's like you're not only warriors inside the ring, outside inside the cage. But the way I feel about this is something that I want to have you or anybody that's watching this who struggle with a lot of stuff mentally, is just don't be afraid to be a warrior. This is exactly what you, the fighters, are. You, the individual, is because you go through so much, you end up feeling like breaking down. And by the way, I do apologize for you losing your family member. I know how tough that could be, and I can understand how frustrated it could be just not to get a chance to grieve. But you spend so much time in the gym, and your son, I'm pretty sure he understands that as well because you try to do so much for the best for yourself, your husband, your kid, and most of all, your entire family. So I really feel like that, just remember that you are a warrior every single day. Just keep reminding yourself that.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. That means a lot.
Well, I mean, the way I feel about it is like, people look at you guys and think, oh, y'all are just like just really tough fighters, but y'all fight, in the ring, in the trigon, and outside of the trigon, and that really needs to be shared as well. So I
Mhm.
really do feel like that you are so worthy to be where you are. I'm so proud of you, and we'll get to the next question, but I do want to say this though. I love how much heart that you put in, not only towards your family, but also what you're doing for this, and we definitely admire and appreciate so much fighters like you that it needs to be shared.
Thank you. Thank you. That means a lot, because at the end of the day, we're all dealing with our own battles and struggles. And hey, this is my side hustle that I've just had for, since I was, 18, 19 years old, and I've just stuck with it. I keep putting one foot right in front of the other, and I hope that everybody else kind of does the same, no matter what their goals or whatever they are in their journey. So, thank you.
You're very welcome. So pretty much, you talked about earlier is that you started off kickboxing because if you guys have not got a chance to follow her, which I'm getting ready to show y'all, make sure you guys get a chance to follow her on Instagram at Skylar_the Goon because she has a couple of shots of her kickboxing style. But whenever the time was for you to go from kickboxing to bare knuckle, what influenced you to start stepping inside the trigon for the first time?
Honestly, my husband, that was like one of his goals. He said he wanted to try a bare knuckle fight, and we've been seeing it kind of like all over YouTube in different countries and stuff. And we were kind of just planting the seeds, networking with different people and see how we can kind of get involved with this. And I thought for sure I was, gonna leave this to him. Like, oh, okay, like you can do this. I'll stick with MMA and kickboxing and everything else.
Yeah,
And then I went and I cornered him for one of, I believe it was the second bare knuckle fight. And there was something about it, the people in there, where it's just like, I almost forgot I was cornering. And I just was just so like in awe of what I was seeing because it was so different yet, but so primal. And it just, you're just kind of drawn to it. And when you get in there, regardless if you're on the losing side or the winning side, it just
yeah,
kind of makes you feel alive. And I've had people ask me, like, when you get punched, like, does it hurt and whatnot? And it's like, the difference between no gloves on your knuckles versus 4-ounce gloves on your knuckles, or anything bigger than that. And if you think about it, when you block, you have like these giant gloves that are, protecting your face as well.
yeah.
So with this, I always tell people that it's just with your adrenaline running as high as it is, you don't really feel much, but you definitely hear it. So it's way louder than getting punched with like a normal glove on. So that was definitely different, but yeah, it's so exciting. I love it. It's great.
And not only
I'm
that,
all
booming.
about it.
I definitely do admire that, and of course, we have so much to talk about. Pretty much you, the women, are doing so much right now. From what we saw last week between Taylor Starling and Christina Fiera, to now to the strawweight battle between Krista Segalia and Brenton Hart.
Mhm.
You are part of a revolution of bare knuckle fighters that is doing so much. How much does it mean to you the fact that you're part of a revolution that is building up for women to go not only outside with MMA, but to go into bare knuckle, not only with BKFC, but to step inside the Trigon for the first time, the smallest of the combat sports?
Yeah, I feel very honored. The Trigon, I'm not gonna lie, when I first went on the Trigon, it was intimidating. But when you start to I like to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. I'm very good at adapting to different scenarios. So to me, I like a challenge. And once I saw the Trigon, I'm like, okay, this is just another challenge for me.
Yeah,
Normally, my fighting style is I feel comfortable being in that pocket. I feel comfortable being very close in.
yeah,
And you notice that with my distance, that's when I really started to kind of put the damage on D's. So I can handle the close intensity. I can handle that, but it's either way. No matter whether we're in close or at a distance, I'm dangerous either way. So I'm comfortable. I'm like water around a rock. I can just adapt. So that's for me. I love that. I love a challenge. So it kind of gets me going. I love it. So
Hey, I definitely love it too. And of course, something that we got to talk about is your last fight. So if anybody doesn't remember, you pretty much took on Miranda Barber, I believe, your first ever bare knuckle fight, and pretty much ended very quickly.
mhm.
But your second fight, though, a couple of weeks back, that was a huge redemption story because you're pretty much showing that it doesn't matter about the first fight because it's matter about now. And you showed that people just need to forget the last fight and focus on this one. You killed it. So, do you ever think about this last fight being a redemption story for you?
Oh yeah, definitely. I knew as soon as like that happened, like I was very like disappointed in myself as anybody is, after a loss. But I just because I felt like I didn't get a chance to show what I'm actually capable of. I've been doing this for a really long time, and I'm just ready to showcase all of my years of training. For me, I'm whether I win or lose, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna keep going. I'm not gonna stop. This is who I am, and this is a part of me. I have a lot of roots within martial arts, and I plan to, continue the legacy. To be honest, the fact that we are kind of pioneers with this, with the bare knuckle organization is, it's a really big deal, and I feel honored. And I don't take one bit of it for granted, but I also know how much hard work I've been putting into this for so long. And I'm just very, very excited and thankful that I finally get to be able to kind of share it with the world. So that's just kind of where I'm at with that, and I'm just super appreciative of it. The second fight, I I just I had a different frame of mind. I went in there just knowing that I was going to get the job done. I was going to go home with the win. That's what was going to happen regardless. Like there was no other thought in my mind. So I just kind of stayed laser focused, and I kind of like pushed everything else out. I felt like my first fight with Miranda Barber, it of course it can be nerve wracking going into the Trigon and bare knuckle for the very first time.
Yeah.
But I believe it was also her debut as well. So I knew that she was probably feeling some of the same things.
Yeah.
But she definitely has a more decorated boxing career than I do. So she definitely had the win on me that night for sure. But I just knew it wasn't going to stop me. I'm going to continue doing this no matter what happens. And I feel like, with the fan base, as soon as a fighter loses, they think, oh, they're the worst fighter. But no, I mean, a lot of people don't even remember when Jorge Masvidal, got submitted. A lot of people don't remember that a lot of these champions that they love now, they've had their losing fights as well. So that's kind of what I chalk it up as. It's just one of my losing fights, and that's why we call it fighting. It's not winning, it's not losing, it's called fighting, and that's
Yeah.
what we're there to do.
And I think definitely everyone who has been a part of this now really do appreciate and understands completely. It comes, I mean, I think about this coming Saturday whenever Nate Diaz fights in the UFC 279. He's had his moments where he lost. He's lost in the big fights like against Conor McGregor. You look at the women. I mean, we've seen Ronda Rousey losing to Holly Holm, and of course, something think about is that this coming Saturday, strawweight title on the line for the
Mhm.
first time ever in bare knuckle women's history between Britain Hart and Carissa Segalia. Those two have had some tough breaking moments, and we've all seen that. So regardless of who comes out, the winner of this coming Saturday's title fight, just remember they gave in their best. They go into the ring, they go into the trigon for a reason. And I can definitely say you have pretty much shown so much. You have improved a lot in your last fight. You showed it. You showed everyone that it's time to forget the past. It's time to focus on now because you
Mhm.
left that fight as your motivation. And that's something I loved about your last fight.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I put literally everything I had, even with all of the stuff that happened in my fight camp. I just channeled all of that into my fight, and I just stayed focused, and I trusted the process, and I'm thankful for it. I'm thankful for the win.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, there's something that we all love about the sport of MMA, the sport of boxing, bare knuckle. There's so many great things about this community that people don't recognize that it can be so fun to be a part of as a commentator, as a fighter, as a fan perspective. So, what's the one thing that you love about the sport of MMA or even combat sports?
What I love about combat sports, MMA, bare knuckle, there's never you can never know everything. There's always something to be learned. And that's what I love, because I love the more knowledge I can take in, the better. I want all of the knowledge. I want all of the tools, all of the resources for my tool belt, so that when I go out there, to go to war, I can handle business, because that's what I'm there to do.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna put you on a tough spot real quick because I pretty much ask all these fighters this because at the end of the day, we all want to be recognized for something, with what we're doing. With let's say for me, for example, I want to be recognized as a one interviewer who shows so much dedication to letting the fighters share the stories like they are now. Now, the something I want you to think about is during the time of fighting, what's something you want to be recognized for? Is it because you're the hardest worker in the gym? Is because you're the hardest worker there is? What's the one thing that you want people to recognize you for during the time of fighting?
I want to be recognized for being the most entertaining female fighter in general, because I am there to mess people up. That's what I'm there to do, and I don't stop. I don't quit. You're gonna have to kill me to stop me.
I definitely love that. Very short and simple video. I love the way that you are not afraid to get in someone's face. You're not afraid to be able to step up and fight. And I really hope we get you to see that in your next fight. So pretty much, I think, my last question I have for you is, What's next? What's next for Skylar the Goon Burns? Do you have anything that you're prepared for?
Yeah, actually we're looking after 2023, looking at another potential fight. Fingers crossed if I get that call from BYV. That's what I'm waiting on. But for right now, I'm just focusing on my husband. He's getting ready for his fight in London at the O2 Arena on October 16th with BYB. He's going to be fighting Lionel Levici. And so I'm really excited for him. I'm ready to, see him put him to sleep pretty much. I mean, we've been working, and I'm really proud of him, and he's putting in all the hard work. So I can't wait to see what he does out there.
Well, real quick, once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys have not got a chance to follow her on Instagram, make sure you do so at Skylar_Lagoon. She is an incredible mother, an incredible fighter, and of course, an incredible badass. Real quick, before we let you go, because I know it's getting late here and there, but I want to say this. So I definitely do appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule. I know you've been training with your husband, but I do want to say this. I'm very proud of you. I'm very honored to get a chance to have you up in here with me. First time in 6 months, an interview with the one and only Skylar Burns, the Goons. What more can you ask for? And I gotta do this, but I'm not worthy right now. I'm not worthy.
Thank you so
But
much, Jake. I appreciate you having me on here. I really do.
no, no problem. We'll definitely talk afterwards. But I'll let you go, and we'll talk to you. I'll talk to you on Instagram. Okay.
Okay. Have a great day. Bye.
Have a great night. Later. That was the one, the only Skylar the Goon Burns. It was so incredible. Thank you so much to Skylar for so much. Really awesome time, really amazing time. As you tell, like by the sound of my voice, it's definitely been an amazing one for sure. But ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it for all the interviews here today. If you guys missed it, me and Zaria had an amazing stream. It was very incredible. It was very awesome, and I'm very proud to get a chance to make the stuff that we get a chance to do. And of course, real quick though, there is a couple of fighter announcements I do want to get a chance to make. Next Friday at 11 p.m., we have Jackie McLean that's going to be going a chance to join me here inside the StreamYard studios. I plan on making sure all my interviews are back on StreamYard, so if you guys are down for it, I'm down for it as well. And of course, don't forget next Saturday at noon, Lupe Mateo is going to be joining me from Combate. We just talk about her pro debut. We get a chance to talk about her amateur experience. We get a chance to talk about so much. And of course, don't forget, if you guys want to get a chance to follow me, make sure you guys get a chance to at the Fighting Now on Instagram. It was very incredible, very awesome. And I really, really, really loved good chance to be back on side the StreamYard studios. I am Jake, representing the Fighting Now, and saying so long. We'll see you guys tomorrow when we get a chance to interview Miss Erica, which once again, don't forget, if you guys want to get a chance to check out some essential oils, make sure you guys do so here. Head on over to Erica's Instagram, follow her. Don't forget, don't miss out because it is incredible. It is amazing. Get yourself some essential oils from Miss Erica today. But hey, that'll do it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jake, representing the Fighting Now, saying so long, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.